Recording is on.
Welcome to governance discussion for Wednesday, June 23rd, 1500 UTC, reporting from the streets of New York, starting with the proposal roundup this week. 15 proposals on mainnet, another busy week, a couple different things. There's starting first, the DX events signal proposal. There's the one on mainnet, and then also the signal proposal on XDAI. I think the XDAI one has 13% or something for, so that seems to be passing well. DXD buyback number 2, the funding proposal and multi-call proposal, and then the DXDAO treasury diversification number 21 that goes, I think might be the last one to get us to the treasury authorization V2. This is a stables one. The car situation is getting worse. I should have stayed in the mechanic shop. Yeah, and then moving on, starting with the farming proposals. And so we can talk briefly about these. So the XDAI ones have actually already been executed, both the funding and the multi-call one. So you can go to swapper.eth.link right now, and you can see the XDAI proposals starting. I think it's a pretty cool way to be able to fund it through the XDXDAO base. There was a little bit of a small, maybe like a 30 to 45 second crisis when John and I were trying to execute it, and the first one actually failed. And it was only because if you're doing 2 contracts on the multi-call proposals, check the gas limit, because it probably will exceed the gas limit. So sure enough, John set the gas limit again, and then the proposal went through. But just be aware of that on for the multi-call there. It tends to need extra higher gas limit. But anyways, that was on XDAI. Those are live. And then on mainnet, the same proposals are going through now. The funding proposal is set to launch, is set to come through on Thursday evening late. And then the multi-call proposal will come an hour or 2 after that. So those will get executed, and then the campaign is set to start at 1500 UTC on Friday. And so those proposals will really only have 11 hours between when they're passing to when they need to be executing at the campaign. So it's really important that we when we do that in order to get the campaign for Friday. So I did send a meeting invite to John and Sky today just to coordinate that, because there is some work we need to do on that. But yeah, that should be it. Wanted to stop on the farming stuff to see if there's any questions on that. I see some good. There's been some sweet volume in Swapper on the last couple days. Some sweet farms too. So any comments on the farming?
I mean, it's just cool to see that we already have a couple of projects adding farms, and I created one as well for the BZZ, which is Swarm, which a lot of that is on XDAI because of their scaling partnership with XDAI, and yeah, it's really cool. Everybody should check it out.
And there was a question. There are 2 rewards for this. There are 2 rewards and 2 campaigns on 2 different chains. So I don't know if that's like a 2 to make 8 or something, 8 possible things. But so there's XDAI and mainnet, and then for the DXD WETH pair, for each of them, there's 2 separate campaigns there for that, and they're giving both WETH and DXD rewards. So they're pretty enticing campaigns, and they should be appealing. You can check out there's a Twitter post up on what they are right now, and then Keenan and crew, I think, will be working on a Medium post to get more specifics.
And maybe it's worth talking about what capped and locked mean, right, for campaigns, because one of the campaigns on each chain is open and the other one is capped and locked. So that means capped means it's limited the amount of LPs that can be staked in in that campaign. So basically, like once a certain amount has been staked, no more people can get in. That makes it desirable to get in before it's capped. So you can, it basically puts a floor like on the APY for any given price. And then locked means that you're actually committed to that pool for the duration of the campaign too. So you can't take it out though once. So it's a little bit more of a commitment, but there's like, basically a floor on the APYs, whereas the open one could get bigger and bigger, the APY could get lower and lower. So a little bit of a trade-off and like flexibility and potential return, right? So it will be interesting to see how people interact with those two side by side.
Someone somewhere asked about dashboard for the APY for each individual investor. I tried to find it earlier. I think Keenan interacted with someone on social media asking that question. Keenan, do you remember what that was?
Sorry, I dismissed the question.
Someone asked us on social media whether there would be some sort of a dashboard showing each individual investor's earnings for the farming campaign. And I remember you said that it's in the making.
Not sure. I recall.
Zed is probably the one to speak to that.
Yeah.
I would say it's not in the making, but we have plans to do a dashboard. It's not just for the farming, but definitely farming is a big part of it. So yeah, we don't have any dashboard today.
Nathan, what I do think would be interesting is that, there's going to be a lot of stats for Swapper with farming and the different chains and everything, and it would be cool to have a list of these so we could think about even putting out bounties for the Dune analytics stuff. I know is probably possible to do some things on at least main. I think it has it on XSide too, but at least mainnet. So maybe at least keeping track of these things that we want to eventually keep track of, because it's going to be building them in a nice sleek part might be tough at first.
Indeed, yeah.
Does DX Stats show you that information?
No, Stats doesn't show anything about the farming campaigns.
So Uniswaps and SushiSwaps does, and then do we take that part out?
Sorry, what information? Can we repeat what we're talking about? What information?
Like the fee, if you're in a farm and you make a return, isn't that?
That's in, but there's no dashboard for farming, if that's the question. So
Swapper is farming on steroids. Uniswap did a little bit of farming and they had that. So I guess Swapper has that plus a lot more. But just if you're an individual, how can I see, oh, I'm farming 6 or 7 different things right now. What pools am I in? What rewards am I getting? This also might be something we could put out for the community. Someone thinks it's cool. They build, I don't know, something. But there's definitely something we should be thinking about here.
Yeah, it might be a good candidate for a bounty, creating.
There is tools out there people already using for farms. We should definitely. I'm not a big farmer. We should probably talk to some farmers and see what tools they use and do a bounty.
There's VFAT, which is the most famous one, which aggregates that, and you can just turn that into a UI basically. That should actually be fairly simple, as a bounty.
What's that? Can you type that into the chat?
VFAT, it's one word.
Cool. So the farming funding proposals we'll go through Thursday evening, and then it'll be happy farming days for there. So. And just as John said, one of the pools for the DXD ETH is it's both a time lock and a stake cap, which means it's locked for 8 weeks. There on XDAI it's locked for 6 weeks. On mainnet it's locked for 8 weeks, and that means that not only a certain amount of liquidity can get in. So it is a kind of like run in, and whoever gets in kind of gets in after that. And I don't know what terminology we're thinking of. I don't like. Not guaranteed, maybe floor is a little bit better, but it is a way of like, kind of guaranteeing a certain yield to people that get in early. I think especially if we could do this with like the kind of KPI tokens, there's something there. But just as a warning that your assets will be locked for the entirety of the campaign there. The rewards are not, though. You can claim the rewards. Okay, and then next up, initial funding proposal for the communications marketing multi-sig. Keenan has been working on this for a bit. I don't think there are any votes on it yet, but I'm sure there will be when gas kind of comes down a little bit yesterday. Keenan, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add.
Yeah, just the proposal came after a bunch of discussion in the forums and in our kind of intra squad calls, basically kind of looking to the fractalization of DXDAO and how we can execute a bit faster in the communications and marketing side. So I think this is a super important initiative to kind of start talking about now as we roll into our kind of product launch. And yeah.
Awesome. And then next up, there is transfer funds 150 ETH to XDAI base. This is from Fluid Drop. I think this is, I think it's 75 ETH to be converted to DAI, 25 to USDC, and then the rest of the 50 be kept in the WEF. XDAI base has been paying out proposals and also doing a lot of the buyback for DXD, so that's kind of depleted the resources there. So I think this is just a general kind of re-upping of resources there, and probably like the breakdown. You think we do have sometimes expenses in most people requesting XDAI, some of the contractors are people requesting USDC, and obviously need some WEF there. So just making sure that XDAI's base is topped up. And then there is a omen.eth and omen.eth content hash proposal. I think that is a couple more days. People have, I believe they voted on it, but that's I think version 1.3 for Omen. And so it's nice that this is a proposal that's actually updating two ENS domain names at the same time, the XDAI one and the Omen one, I believe. Cool. And then just talking a bit about kind of the buyback proposals. So just there are 3 different buyback proposals live on mainnet, one on XDAI right now. Just to talk briefly about the one so far. So last night we executed the first buyback on the on mainnet through Gnosis protocol. So it's the same process on XDAI, a little bit more gas intensive to get into on mainnet. But yeah, it worked there, and I think there's been 8 DXD bought from there on mainnet there. In total, we've acquired, DXDAO has acquired 971 DXD. So like 963, I guess, on XDAI through the past 11 proposals, and in total that is been acquired, and this is an estimate because it's hard to get the final number, the specific numbers on the order price, but in total that's $275,000 worth of DXD that has been acquired. So like 27% on the way there, and just starting to kind of mainnet one. And then I guess the other thing to update on that is the signal proposal that passed 2 nights ago that updated the parameters of the buyback to 5% and also clarified the accounting things. So actually the most recent buyback proposal actually has a slippage tolerance at 5% there. So when that gets through starting in 8 days, the slippage tolerance will be at 5% or up to the discretion of anyone who's submitting the proposal. Any thoughts on that? As I said, there's the 4 different ones that are live on XDI and mainnet now, and then yeah, pretty soon we'll pass 1,000 DXD in terms of being acquired. So I guess slowly but surely.
Yeah, what is the total USD amount? I think the DXgov ratified based on 1 million USD buyback, right? Like, how much did we achieve so far?
275,000.
Okay, there's still a long way to go. So I actually reached out to the main Gnosis protocol architect and like trying to understand what needs to be done to keep the solvers running. And the solver itself is actually pretty easy to get up to speed. But what we also need to do is I think they kind of killing a price estimator which is used on the Mesa UI. So if we fix that, I think we can keep the solver going and keep the buyback program going. And
just to give some context for everyone first. So right, so Gnosis, Mesa is built on Gnosis protocol v1, and v1 Gnosis is trying to move away from v1. They have a couple different protocols there. So we're trying to figure out how we could use something else maybe to conduct the buyback. It's really difficult actually for the DAO to do that because most of the limit orders that you place, I think it's an EOA address, right? So it can't happen for a smart contract address. So that's what's nice about Gnosis protocol is that we can use a relayer to do that. But they want to shut it down, and we're kind of the only ones using it right now. So we need to transition in the long term, but I guess in the short to medium term, it would be best if we could still continue to use it. And it sounds like Geronimo, if we can do that, right?
Right. Like so far, it seems like the solver is running, like the DXgov solver. And the only thing we need to make sure of is that the Mesa frontend is able to fetch prices from on-chain. So that's something they will also kill. And the last thing I want to say is it seems like they have a internal date for killing the whole Gnosis protocol version 1 infrastructure, and it's once they do the announcement, it's 6 weeks, and they just didn't have the time to do the announcement yet. So we have some buffer time to make sure that our solver is able to do the DXgov solvers are able to do the job, and also I think we should define what is the longer term alternative. But 6 weeks is actually pretty great. I expected way shorter times.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think that actually, we've been doing the buyback program only for 5 weeks, right? I think we've kind of been ramping up, and actually the volume size has gone up a little bit, so we've gone up in the purchase size. But I mean, yeah, theoretically, that could be completed in 6 weeks and on Gnosis protocol, especially because I think the sizes could be increasing, especially as liquidity increases on Swapper and how the farming campaigns maybe play into this and the size of the purchases. But yeah, 6 weeks I think is pretty good.
Yeah, and even that, if we make sure that we update Mesa in before 6 weeks, we can easily continue everything, right? So on that front, the GPV1 is still able to be used from the DXgov, and I think that's actually pretty nice.
Any other thoughts on buyback stuff? Questions? Just a preview, because I guess we didn't mention it in the finishing the Treasury authorization with the latest one. There will be, we're coming to the end of Q2. So in a couple weeks' time, we'll be doing the Treasury report there. Dave will be leading up that. So something to look forward to and maybe think about some of these conversations again.
Yeah, and I think there was some discussion around, I guess it would make sense around the Q2 report to use that information, maybe some of the slides, and actually turn it into like a thought leader treasury management DAO article, because you see a bunch of other DAOs, or actually there was like a third party that was analyzing DAOs treasuries and they didn't even include DXDAO. And that's just because we don't have a lot of stuff out there probably. And so we can take this information, which we're already doing, and we can put it in a format. We did a tweet thread last time, but that's not something that people can look up and reference and write other reports based off of. So I think I'm happy to help Dave, and we could make it into like more of an article, like with strategy around like why we're doing what we're doing in the proposals and what the strategy of the DAO's treasury management is. And then like try to share that around the DAO space, and then become something that other DAOs probably start to reference, like they've done with our worker guidelines and stuff. And then hopefully
100%, 100% agree. Yeah. And I think there's like actually 3 different audiences we're thinking about this. One is maybe this call, people were thinking about discussing things about the treasury, what we should be doing, what DXDAO wants to do. And then 2 is the community, right? The existing ones are kind of out there or curious. We've started to engage with that. And then the third one really, I think, is that audience you're talking about, Sky, which is like the broader, ecosystem is talking about all this stuff, and we need to insert ourselves into that conversation. Okay. Yeah, and then just kind of moving to the discussion items, the Aqua Age. I don't know if you wanted to, there's a discussion in there. I guess we haven't moved forward with the proposal there, but anything to discuss on Aqua launch, naming, branding?
So internally, a bunch of people have already started referring to it as Aqua. There's a forum post. There was basically no negative feedback from anyone in the community. There were a bunch of positive memes. And yeah, the next step would be to just make a signal proposal that is the plan for the naming of this new platform that we've been working on. With that, I don't think this has to necessarily be in the signal proposal, but like next step would be, we need some basic, there's a logo Dave just made. We need some kind of like logo or way to show it, right? It doesn't have to be super complex and fancy, but Mesa was just an M in a circle, right? So it could be an A in a circle, or it could be something different than that. And maybe it has this water feel to it. And if we don't have someone internally that can help make this like basic branding to like at least use on the site and use in marketing materials, we could try to just find a logo designer. Like we don't need much, we don't need a homepage or anything yet, I don't think. So we really just need a logo / way to write the name, and we could try to do that on a third party, type of 99 Designs or something too, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good opportunity with Aqua in general. Like we have a new brand, thinking about putting some resources behind it, developing it, and maybe also engaging the community. Like, how does that process get spoken about with the community? How do we get feedback and all of this?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to make it really a cohesive brand, because I made a post, like there's so many things that go along with the Aqua theme, that also fit in with the with the platform. So like kind of like how Sushi Swap, they have a bento box. Aqua could have a kind of a pirate and merchant ship theme, and a pirate ship would be representing an auction sale, and then a merchant ship would be representing a fixed sale, and then if those graphics could be included on the website too, I think it would give the brand a lot of personality.
There's endless opportunity with Aqua. It's so good.
I think we need to decide now whether or not Aquaman will be a part. Who is Aquaman? There was Bowman, and then who is the Aquaman? Okay, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Then just moving forward, just a forum post that I saw, and I wasn't sure if we wanted to talk about or give a space to. I know there's the Omen marketing website and Hunter Design company collaboration. I read that it was interesting and good. Geronimo, I don't know if you wanted anything to add, or we're looking to move forward, or maybe feedback on next steps.
Regarding the landing page?
Yeah, I guess that, I'm just looking at I think that they posted in the forum about the landing page proposal.
Right. Yeah, so
Geronimo, did you cut out?
yeah, as far as I know, there was overall positive comments about Hunter Design making the landing page. We also had a call with the team who's doing the introduction video, and it was a great call. And like the goal is actually to get them in sync with the video and the landing page. Omen itself doesn't have like a very defined branding, so it's actually pretty nice for them. I hope that they can like be very free in terms of like defining the brand. And the question is like, I think the video will come before the landing page, so I guess and I hope that the that the Hunters team will get influenced by the video and like trying to connect those connect the video to the or connect like this brand which will be made for the video into the landing page.
Cool. And I guess we should be looking for a proposal then sometime soon. I think there seems to be some broader agreement. I know this is like a kind of larger engagement or larger thing that we've been doing, but I think Omen's ready for that. So I guess the proposal is the next step.
Actually hoped that the proposal will come sooner, but it's also great that the community has time to provide feedback. So the next steps are definitely like to move ahead with the on-chain proposal. So I will get in touch with the Hunters team about that. And if the video team is actually doing a great job and the DXgov community is happy about the video, I think we should also like already give the signal that we should probably also think about like a guild video, because it is a new thing and it's actually like it's actually a big thing. And there should be like an introduction video about like what the guild is and what the future will bring and how people can join. But that's like later on.
Yeah, Nylon was talking about a video for, I don't know, it was Omen or something, but videos are,
Yeah, index co-op, they just did like, and I think they're fairly complex, not as feature rich as us, but they've done like a nice video which I shared in like one of the groups. So I'm totally down for something like that.
I looked it up. It looked more like a slideshow. It wasn't, too animated.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. I thought it could have been better too, but I think that this concept is very strong. Cool. Yeah, anything else on Omen? Okay, next up, contributor UX check-in. Big post from Melanie this week. Melanie, do you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone. So I'd just like to discuss the overhaul of the DXgov contributor compensation structure. As you know, over the past month, Chris, Keenan, and I have been re-examining the current comp structure and just getting feedback from everyone to create like a new and appropriate compensation structure that would meet the needs of everyone in the community, as well as meet market compensation rates just to remain competitive. So right now, I want to mainly talk about some of the most notable changes and highlights to the structure. The rest can be reviewed on DAO Talk. There is a draft proposal of the new structure and Q&A up that I just posted yesterday, and I will link it. Oh, Keenan already linked it in the chat. So first, I'd like to walk you through the new contributor levels to help differentiate contributor levels further and in more detail. We have added 3 additional ones. So the new structure will include 8 levels as opposed to the previous that had 5. One of the biggest reasons why we increase the amount of levels is so each contributor, new and current, will have a level they're contributing at that really fits their skill set and experience appropriately. Previously, we had contributors feel as if they were in between levels, and like at one point we had contributors who were contributing at like a half level, for example, like working at a level 3.5. So we just wanted to eliminate any of that confusion. Therefore, we expanded the amount of levels, and you can find more details around them in the forum post. We've also been receiving questions about how current contributor levels will transfer to this new structure. And mainly, it'll be up to the individual contributor. So contributors should do a self-assessment on the language presented in the compensation structure and have a discussion with their squad lead or just any other relevant contributors around what it should be. And then it'll be up to the individual to make the decision surrounding their level based on the updated level descriptions and just any feedback received. So also, if you're still unsure, included in the forum post is a suggested guide on how to help you determine your new level. Another change you'll see in the compensation structure is the overall compensation. So you'll see that there's been a substantial increase of the DXD allocation. So looking forward to that. And then also surrounding DXD, we propose to change the price of DXD from the all-time high to the current price. And the exact parameters around this has not been determined yet. We've had some really great ideas on how the current price will be determined. But one thing we do know is that we'll be implementing a process to ensure the proposal submission times are not gamed. So still kind of working on that. But the last thing I also did want to mention is that after the compensation poll was completed in the forum, there were a lot of comments and requests around token distribution, additional reward distribution. This is something like we're still like looking into and will implement. So you won't see any additional token distribution in the structure, but we are looking into doing something like that really soon. All right. And then that's kind of it on the new comp structure. So check it out in DAO Talk. Does anybody have any questions, like any immediate questions, if anybody hasn't reviewed it yet? Awesome. And then one more thing, we do have a new DAO Talk forum post up. We have a new developer on Omen. Well, he's actually been contributing for a while, but we just like to welcome Francesco to the Omen squad, and he's actually has a live proposal up. So welcome.
Welcome. I think just the only thing to add to what Melanie was saying about the compensation is I think we should also look at this as an opportunity to redo a lot of the ways that we like work and submit proposals and kind of those different things. Even, you know, something like maybe moving to a 3-month period. We talked about like also separating the trial component. So I think there are some other opportunities to make additional changes. So feedback in that while we're going through feedback on those things and suggestions while we're going through this process. And welcome, Francesco.
Are you guys sure he's on the call?
I'm sure he's listening.
Wait, he's not.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the call.
I don't think he's here. Yeah.
But he will surely watch the recording.
I think so, yeah.
Welcome, welcome. All right. Anyone else we want to welcome that's not on the call?
No one else.
Cool. Yeah, I think the last thing on the agenda is just DX vote and kind of Arbitrum checking. I know, Augusto, you've been working on this and a lot of things going on. I just wanted to see if there was any updates you wanted to give or anything you needed from feedback on.
Yeah, mainly I just wanted to share what I've done. I redeployed DXgov on Rinkeby and Arbitrum. We don't have any proposals yet, and I'm working on some fixes. Let me see if I can share my screen, because right now I was trying to see it on what I have deployed on GitHub pages. But the styles are not showing correctly. I have no idea why. So I'm going to show what I have on my local machine. What we are seeing here is a DXZ token on Arbitrum testnet. So we were using the same DXZ from the official Rinkeby that we have deployed. So you can later I'm going to share on Doctor how to get DXZ on Rinkeby, and we should add some steps on or some explanation on how to bridge it to the Arbitrum testnet. Another thing that I added, this was an idea from Nylon. This is an embedded information from DAO Talk. I don't know if it is super useful, but well, it is here, and you can see all the topics from DAO Talk here in DXgov. And what else? Okay, something else that I'm working on is on an FAQ. For example, here I added question marks all around the page. So if you want to see what is the scheme configurations and what all this stuff means, you should enter here, and we are going to have a series of questions that is going to point you to the right question and is going to explain what each thing in DXgov is, like the voting and staking and all the process. And I added more documentation on the README, where I added a very nice graph with a lot of colors, explaining how DXgov works and what each schemes can do. So, the idea is that after reading this, you should be able to understand which scheme you will have to submit your proposal and the scheme's configuration. So this took some time, and later we should cross-check it. I'm going to add all this documentation in the FAQ. Later we should work around it and make it maybe like more readable amiable for the DXgov user. So this is going to be mainly on the FAQ. And this is it. What I'm going to be doing is adding new proposals. I'm going to add the templates that Melanie is going to send me, and yeah, try to finish this so we can start testing it. It will be awesome if more people can test it. I came up with an idea that we can add like a ranking of governance here, so maybe the user who created and posted more proposals on Rinkeby and Arbitrum testnet can get maybe later some reward. And this will be a way to kickstart like the governance ranking, where we can rank who has been the voters and governors that have been using the app the most, like submitting more proposal, voting, staking, all the stuff. So I don't know what do you guys think, but yeah, I think this is a good idea to incentivize the testing of the app in Rinkeby and Arbitrum.
Well, I think POAP is the first thing that comes to mind. Or any addresses that are interactive, we can figure about that. But yeah, I think we need feedback on this. And, so yeah, what ways could we incentivize people, or what are we just trying to poke around, submit proposals, test things?
Yeah, exactly. Came up with some kind of reward. I also added the well, I wasn't able to show it, but I added two smart contracts. One is an NFT minter. So we have a DXgov NFT, the smart contract we can use to mint NFT to users. So maybe later we can mint NFTs to the governors or the users who have been using the app the most on Rinkeby and Arbitrum. I don't know, maybe even like some funds in later in XDAI or in mainnet. But I think an NFT minting, I don't know, will be quite cool also to use that feature.
Yeah, I really like the idea of incentivizing participation. So it sounds great, and we can, evolve it further. So maybe, distribute some tokens for participation that can later be redeemed for swag or something. And it should be aimed not that much at the core team, but rather the broader, the wider community, so that we have more, majority votes.
Yeah, my intention is to be sure that we test it roughly, like we tested a lot on Rinkeby and Arbitrum testnet. Yeah, because it takes time, to enter a new app and to see what is going on. And I think we should do it because this is an important step for us. But yeah, how do we incentivize, like, we and other users take the time to go there and check it out? So I guess if we create like a ranking of who created the more proposal, who voted and taking them out without spending money, just spending their time and testing, that would be cool. And of course, we should add a link on where to submit an issue if you find that is something that I still haven't done yet. I know. Maybe somewhere on the FAQ or around the app, where if you find an issue, go here and it will open GitHub, the GitHub repository on the page where you submit a new issue, where we have the issues and bug reports template, and you submit the bug that you found it or the feature request.
Cool. Anything else on DX vote? And DXgov is still working on mainnet as like a kind of backup thing. If you're ever having problems with Alchemy, it's ever kind of want to look at something else, it's good there.
Yes, I'm making sure that it is up and running always on mainnet, so we can check what is happening there too. Anything that everything that you see on Alchemy, you should see it on DXgov too. We are counting the proposal, like every time that a new proposal is added, it has a new number. Right now, well, it's loading, but I think we have 597 proposals, almost reaching 600. So yeah, you can go there, check it out. I don't know why the styles are fucked up in the link, but I'm going to fix it today.
Cool. Just on that, like 3 little things maybe as we close out here. Kind of one, if anyone's curious, DeepDAO has, I guess, re-updated their stuff, and you can now get all of the past proposal data for mainnet and XDAI there. It's easy to download a CSV, so if you're looking for anything, it's actually another option to look at things. Second, just highlighting, we did do the Arbitrum kind of post last week in terms of that, and that's I think a nice narrative in terms of we're thinking about the treasury pushing, but also thinking about the multi-chain aspect of that. And then the third thing, just to be on the radar, is Keenan. I think it was July 17th we're going, which is like technically the 2-year anniversary of DXDAO on-chain governance. I think it's the first proposal, maybe, but we're looking to do some type of kind of explainer post, maybe a recap of where governance has been, where kind of governance is going, and a lot of different things. So something to think of. Yeah, July 14th. Sorry, that is Bastille Day. Okay. Anything else? Just wanted to go on camera because I switched to the mechanic in the middle of the meeting. But yeah, anything else on the mind? Awesome. All right, we can end a little early here. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thanks,
great day.
everyone.
Take care, guys.